God's creations are vast and mysterious, some meant to be seen, others meant to remain hidden. But when the camera captures them, the fear becomes real. Tonight, we're diving into the scariest river creatures ever caught on camera. Stay till the end, if you dare. The fisherman's monster catch. The fisherman's hands shook as his line suddenly went tight. Something massive was on the other end, nearly dragging him into the water. He fought with all his strength, his heart pounding as the battle stretched on. After what felt like forever, he finally pulled his catch to the surface, and his jaw dropped. It was a Goliath grouper, a true sea giant, over 8 feet long and weighing more than 800 pounds. Its massive head and powerful body made it look like a prehistoric beast. For this fisherman, this wasn't just a big catch. It was a once-in-a-lifetime moment. The shark that ate a shark. The fisherman thought his plan was simple: hook a small reef shark to lure a bigger fish. But what happened next left him speechless. Out of nowhere, a massive tiger shark appeared, and without hesitation, devoured the smaller shark in one brutal bite. Tiger sharks are known for eating almost anything, even other sharks, but witnessing it firsthand was something else. Fueled by adrenaline, the fisherman grabbed the tiger shark's tail as it thrashed in the water. It was a wild and rare moment, proving once again that in the ocean, the biggest predator always wins. The giant shark carcass. The people of Karachi woke up to a shocking sight: a 7-ton shark carcass floating near the port. It was a 12-meter-long behemoth so massive that 2 cranes were needed just to lift it from the water. Crowds gathered, staring in disbelief at the lifeless giant. Experts could only guess what had happened. Maybe a change in water temperature or pollution had led to its tragic end. But one thing was clear: this was a stark reminder of how human activity affects the ocean in ways we still don't fully understand. The river's hidden giant. Would you believe a river could hide a monster fish? Well, this fisherman wouldn't have either, until he pulled one out with his own hands. Standing by the riverbank, his arms struggled to hold up the massive Wells catfish, a rare river giant that can grow over 6 feet long and weigh hundreds of pounds. The fisherman was in shock. Should he release it back into the wild or keep the incredible catch? As he stared into the fish's eyes, he knew this was a moment he'd never forget. The strange spotted fish. Something about this fish was just off. The fisherman pulled his catch from the pond and realized it was covered in strange eye-like spots all over its body. It almost looked like it was watching him. But these weren't real eyes. They were a natural trick to confuse predators. It was a knife fish, an unusual species that can grow up to 5 feet long and even swim backward. Instead of keeping it, the fisherman let it go, watching as it disappeared into the water. Nature sure has some weird ways of helping creatures survive. The two-faced fish. This wasn't just another fish. It was a nightmare come to life. Near the sea, an expert discovered a fish with 2 mouths and extra eyes. Its unnatural features made it look more like a creature from a horror movie than anything found in the ocean. But the truth was even scarier. After studying it closely, scientists realized this wasn't some undiscovered species. It was a victim of pollution. The toxic waters had mutated its body, creating a chilling warning about what humans are doing to the ocean. The mermaid's tail. This can't be real. That's what a group of marine biologists kept repeating as they stared at the massive white tail washed up on the shore. At first, they thought it was part of a whale carcass, but as they got closer, they saw scales and a shape unlike anything they had ever studied before. It looked like a mermaid's tail. Could it be possible? Myths that existed only in stories were now tangled with reality, leaving one question behind: what else is out there waiting to be discovered? The fish with glowing blue eyes. A local man was walking along the shore when he spotted something unusual, a tiny fish peeking out from a hole in the sand. But there was something eerie about it. Its eyes glowed an unnatural blue, staring at him as if it was watching his every move. Holding a fishing spear, he inched closer. The moment the spear touched the water, the fish lunged at it before vanishing back into its burrow. This was no ordinary fish. It was a jawfish, a small but clever creature known for digging burrows in the sand to stay hidden. Some believe their glowing blue eyes help them detect danger or prey from a distance. Whatever the case, this fish was built for survival. The aggressive catch. A fisherman stood by a quiet lake, eyeing a strange-looking fish swimming near the surface. Instead of using bait, he formed a loop with his fishing line and slowly guided the fish's head into it. Then, bam, the fish exploded out of the water, thrashing wildly. He had just caught a snakehead fish, and he did it using an unusual twist on an old-school method called noodling. The snakehead, known for its aggressive nature, likely attacked the moving line, making it easy to trap. This was no lucky catch. This was understanding the predator's instincts and using them against it. A fish that covered the boat. The fishermen pulled up their nets, expecting the usual catch, but instead, a massive black creature flopped onto their boat, covering nearly the entire deck. It had a giant fin like a sailfish, but no one could tell exactly what it was. Later, experts identified it as a lingcod, a fish that can grow to monstrous sizes. But that wasn't the only surprise. Another group of fishermen later caught a much smaller lingcod, but this one was shimmering in gold. It looked like something out of a fantasy, its golden scales glistening in the sun. Following tradition, the fishermen released it back into the water, letting the rare beauty disappear into the depths. The fish that wouldn't give up. We got a big one. A fisherman in the open sea had just reeled in a fish, but something was terribly wrong. It looked like half of its body was missing. It was as if a shark had taken a giant bite out of it, and yet, it was still alive. The fish, a greater amberjack, wasn't just surviving, it was healing. New skin was already forming over its massive wound. The fisherman was stunned. Despite its injuries, the fish kept swimming, refusing to give up. It was a living testament to nature's resilience, proving that even in the ocean, survival is about more than just luck. Stolen by a shark. A fisherman had been battling for hours, determined to land his prize. His patience finally paid off. He hooked a fish and began reeling it in. But just as he was about to claim his hard-earned catch, the ocean had other plans. Out of nowhere, a massive white shark appeared, snatched the fish right off the line, and disappeared into the depths. The fisherman stood frozen. All that effort, gone in an instant. It was a harsh reminder that in the sea, you're not the only hunter. Sometimes the ocean takes what it wants. The human-faced fish. In the waters of Kobongbong, a fisherman pulled up something that left everyone speechless. A fish that looked eerily human. It weighed 2.7 kilograms and measured 42 centimeters long, but it was its face that stole the spotlight. Its bulging blue eyes sat on top of its head, and its thick, upward-facing mouth made it look almost like it had lips. No teeth, just a strange, almost human-like expression. Experts later identified it as the ook fish, also called the giant oob fish, a rare species found in the Gulf of Thailand. With such a small population, sightings are incredibly rare. If you ever find yourself fishing in Kobongbong, just hope you're lucky enough to see one for yourself. Strange catch in murky waters. A fisherman was expecting just another normal day on the water, but what he pulled up this time was anything but normal. Instead of a regular fish, he found himself staring at a bizarre creature, a suckermouth catfish. Its strange, tube-like mouth and odd behavior made it look almost alien. This fish, known for feeding on wood, is native to Central and South America, but finding one in the wild is incredibly rare. The most shocking part? He caught it with his bare hands. The trunked fish. Just when you think you've seen it all, nature throws in a twist. A fisherman cast his line, expecting an ordinary catch, but what he reeled in left him speechless. It had the body of a fish, but a long, elephant-like trunk. Its vibrant colors shimmered beneath the water as if nature had painted it by mistake. As he pulled it closer, the creature seemed to lock eyes with him, almost like it was studying him too. Was it a rare mutation? A sign of changing waters? As the fisherman released it back, he couldn't shake the feeling that the river was holding more secrets than he ever imagined. Unusual catch. Fishing trips are full of surprises, but this one was unforgettable. As the fishermen pulled up their catch, they were stunned. It had thick, human-like lips and strong, almost menacing teeth. This strange-looking fish was no ordinary catch. It was a triggerfish, a species known for its unusual appearance and powerful bite, capable of crushing coral and mollusk shells with ease. But what made it even more fascinating was its aggressive nature. These fish are highly territorial and don't take kindly to intruders. The fisherman, both amazed and cautious, knew he had encountered something truly extraordinary. Ocean giants. A drone soared high above the ocean, capturing the endless blue waves. At first, it seemed like just another school of fish moving beneath the surface. But as the camera zoomed in, the truth became clear. These weren't just any fish. They were basking sharks, the second largest fish in the world. These gentle giants can grow up to 10 meters long and weigh as much as 3 tons. Finding one under 3 meters is rare, and some even claim they've seen them as long as 12 meters, though proof is hard to come by. Unlike their fearsome appearance, basking sharks glide through the water peacefully, swimming with their mouths wide open to filter plankton. It was a breathtaking sight, proof of the ocean's hidden wonders. Mutant catch. Fishing in New Zealand's lakes is usually predictable until something unusual appears. One fisherman reeled in a catch that left him speechless. It was a brown trout, but something was terribly wrong. This one had no upper jaw, and its lower jaw jutted forward with sharp, menacing teeth. Its golden-brown scales shimmered under the light, marked with dark, uneven spots. Brown trout are known for their strength and agility, but this one stood out for something else. Its bizarre mutation. After taking a moment to admire the rare and eerie fish, the fisherman released it back into the water, watching it disappear into the depths. Ocean giant. The ocean never fails to surprise us. A fisherman on the Mediterranean coast of Tuta caught something unbelievable, a massive sea creature hanging from his boat. At first, no one knew what it was, but as they got closer, the truth sent chills down their spines. It was the carcass of a giant sunfish. This beast measured over 10 feet long and weighed more than 4,000 pounds. Sunfish, or mola mola, are some of the biggest bony fish in the world, with their flat bodies and giant triangular fins, making them look almost alien. This rare find reminds us that the ocean still holds secrets waiting to be uncovered. Conjoined whales. What the fishermen found in Mexico's Ojo de Li Lagoon was something no one had ever seen before. 2 whale calves joined at the midsection. It was as if nature had created a creature straight out of a legend. The conjoined twins weighed half a ton and measured 4 meters long. With 2 heads, double fins, and 2 tails, they look like something out of a deep-sea nightmare. Scientists believe an incomplete separation during the embryonic stage led to this rare condition. Sadly, survival was impossible, and both were lifeless when discovered. Researchers quickly gathered skin, muscle, and baleen samples, because this wasn't just a rare event. It was the first ever documented case of conjoined whale twins. River mystery. Something terrifying washed up on the shores of an Indonesian river, and no one could believe their eyes. A fisherman was the first to spot it, a massive, lifeless creature stretching 23 meters long and 4 meters wide. But what sent shivers through the villagers was the rumors that followed. Some swore this beast had been lurking beneath the river, responsible for the mysterious disappearances of several people. Was it an undiscovered predator, or just a decaying giant carried in by the currents? One thing was certain: the river wasn't just home to fish. It had been hiding a monster, colossal catch. Fishing trips are supposed to be peaceful, but this one turned into a historic event. A fisherman had just pulled something enormous from the river, and word spread like wildfire. Within minutes, the entire town had gathered, their eyes fixed on the giant reptile before them. This wasn't just any crocodile. It measured a staggering 20 feet long, making it the largest one ever recorded. Experts rushed to the scene, trying to contain the situation, but it was too late. Someone had already captured it on camera. Crocodiles have ruled their ecosystems for over 200 million years, but this one? It was a record-breaking legend. Shocking discovery. A fisherman strolling along the shore spotted something strange, half buried in the sand. It was massive, far too big to be anything normal. As he stepped closer, he realized it looked like a giant pale blob with no recognizable features. Some thought it was a globster, the mysterious remains of a deep-sea creature. Others believed it was the decaying body of a whale, washed up and unrecognizable. But the eerie sight left many unsettled. Could this be a natural phenomenon, or was something more disturbing responsible for this lifeless giant? Some blamed environmental pollution. What do you think? Scary fish. The moment this fisherman pulled his catch onto the boat, his heart skipped a beat. Lying on the deck was a fish with terrifying needle-like teeth, its mouth slightly open, as if waiting for its next victim. Slowly, he inched his hand forward, hoping the creature would take the offered food gently. But the second he got close, the fish lunged, its jaws snapping violently. It was a monkfish, a creature that devours anything in its path. What should have been a simple catch turned into a moment of pure terror. Would you dare to fish for this beast? Hidden monster. Ever caught something so big you weren't sure if you should hold on or let go? A fisherman in the Congo River gripped a fish so massive and powerful, it felt almost unreal. But this wasn't just any fish. It was a Goliath tigerfish, one of the river's deadliest predators. Its sharp teeth could slice through flesh in an instant, and locals whispered that touching it would make a person feel the unstoppable force of the river itself. Some say it's a blessing. Others believe it's a curse. As the fisherman let it slip back into the water, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had just held something beyond this world. Silent predator. The lake was calm. Tiny fish darted beneath the surface, nibbling on floating food. But then, without warning, the water shifted. A massive shadow rose from the depths, sending ripples in all directions. The smaller fish scattered in terror as a giant creature emerged. It was no ordinary catch. This was the pirara, the red-tailed catfish, the undisputed queen of the waters. Its powerful body moved with quiet dominance, proving that even in peaceful waters, the deadliest hunters lurk just beneath the surface. Shore mystery. In Haiti, a fisherman stumbled upon something that sent a chill down his spine. A massive, unrecognizable creature lay motionless on the shore. Within minutes, a crowd gathered, eyes wide with curiosity and fear. At first, it looked like a strange, bloated fish. But something was off. Its features didn't match anything they had seen before. Some whispered that it was a whale, dragged ashore by an unnatural force. Others feared it was a sign of the ocean's delicate balance being disturbed. Whatever it was, it left the crowd with more questions than answers. Dark discovery. Look at that. The boat captain's voice shook with disbelief. Off the coast of North Carolina, a dark shape moved through the water. Its head barely broke the surface, while the rest of its massive body remained hidden. As it swam closer, a chilling thought crossed his mind. Could it be the Loch Ness Monster? The legend of Nessie had always belonged to Scotland, but what if the creature had traveled? The captain strained to see through the waves, his pulse racing. But before he could make out its full form, the creature vanished, leaving behind only a mystery. Unusual discovery. Floating near Jabber Bridge in Kuwait, a massive carcass drifted in the water. It was a whale, long dead, its body already decomposing. But the real mystery wasn't its death, it was how it ended up so far from its usual waters. Had it gotten lost? Was it sick, disoriented, or driven off course by pollution? Whatever the cause, the sight of the lifeless giant sent a wave of concern through the locals. Was this a rare accident or a warning of something much bigger? Giant surprise. He thought it was just another fishing trip. He cast his line, expecting a normal catch, but then the water started moving in a way that sent chills down his spine. A massive, dark shape emerged, cutting through the lake like a prehistoric beast. At first, he panicked, thinking he had hooked an anaconda. The long, shiny body twisted and turned, growing larger as it got closer. But as the creature surfaced, he saw the wide, whiskered mouth. It was a Wells catfish. These monsters can grow over 13 feet long, looking like something straight out of a legend. The fisherman could hardly believe it. He had set out for a simple catch, but ended up face to face with a true river giant. Tentacle grip. The riverbank was peaceful, until the eerie cracking sound broke the silence. A visitor turned toward the noise and saw something that made him freeze in place. An old stone pillar was trembling as if an unseen force was trying to crush it. But then, he saw them. 8 long, curling tentacles wrapped around the pillar, gripping it tight. It was a giant octopus, pulling and twisting, its powerful limbs testing the stone's limits. Was it playing? Was it trying to break free from something? No one could say for sure. But one thing was clear. This was no ordinary sea creature. Would you dare get close? Maybe it's better to keep your distance, because now even the land belongs to it. Biggest catch. The fisherman felt the pull. Something huge was on the other end of his line. His heart pounded as he fought to reel it in. When it finally broke the surface, his eyes widened in shock. This wasn't just a big fish, it was a sturgeon, an ancient river monster with rough, bumpy skin and a pointed fin that made it look like a relic from another time. These creatures have existed since the dinosaurs, and this one was massive. The fisherman grabbed his camera, knowing this was a moment most people would never experience. A true river legend caught on tape. A fisherman was filming the calm water when he spotted something strange. A dark shape, half submerged, floated near the surface. At first he thought it was just a few rocks, but when he looked closer, he realized it was something else. The video spread like wildfire, and theories ran wild. Some said it was tree branches drifting in the current. Others believed it was something far more chilling, the hand of a ghost reaching up from the depths. Whatever it was, the lake became famous overnight, drawing curious visitors hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious figure. If you ever visit, keep your camera ready. You might just capture the next big mystery. Lake encounter. A peaceful boat ride turned into a heart-pounding moment. Locals were out on the lake when they spotted two massive shapes moving through the water. One lingered in the distance, but the other started closing in fast. Its head dipped below the surface, its massive body gliding just beneath the waves. Then, without warning, it lunged out of the water and stood still. It was a hippo. And if you know anything about hippos, you know they aren't just cute animals. They're territorial, unpredictable, and incredibly dangerous. When they see a boat in their space, they don't just ignore it. This hippo had been following, watching, deciding whether the boat was a threat. Whether it was protecting its territory or its young, one thing was clear. This wasn't a moment anyone on that boat would ever forget. Mysterious shark discovery in Ireland. Something strange washed up on the shores of Ireland. A local fisherman, expecting to see a regular fish carcass, froze in shock. The creature on the sand had rough, shark-like skin, but something was off. Its eerie eyes and bizarre spiked body sent chills down his spine. At first, he thought it was a basking shark, but the more he looked, the more it seemed unnatural. Some believed it had been caught in a deep-sea disaster, while others whispered that it had been chased by something even bigger. Whatever the case, experts warn, if you ever stumble upon such a carcass, don't touch it. Dangerous bacteria could be lurking. The moving arms of Sentosa Island. A fisherman near Singapore felt his net grow heavy. When he pulled it up, he gasped. Inside was a creature unlike anything he'd seen. A tangle of nearly 100 moving arms, twisting and writhing like something out of a nightmare. Was it a starfish, an octopus? He took a video, and soon the internet had the answer. It was a basket sea star, a bizarre relative of the brittle star. Though rare, these alien-like creatures exist in the ocean's depths. That fisherman was one of the lucky few to witness such an incredible sight. Sometimes, the sea reminds us how little we truly know about its secrets. The baby dragon of Japan. High in the mountains of Japan, a tourist spotted something in a stream. At first, it seemed like an ordinary fish, but as it swam closer, their hearts skipped a beat. It had the body of a serpent, tiny clawed limbs, and an almost mythical presence. A baby dragon? Legends tell of dragons as symbols of destruction or powerful protectors, but could they still exist, hiding in the untouched corners of the world? The sighting turned the stream into a local sensation, drawing crowds eager to see if more dragons would appear. Maybe myths aren't just stories, maybe they're warnings or secrets waiting to be uncovered. The fish that refused to eat. On a quiet riverbank, a local tossed a piece of food into the water. A fish rushed forward, then suddenly another, much larger one appeared. But it didn't eat. This wasn't just any fish. It was an arapaima, one of the largest freshwater predators on the planet. At nearly 10 feet long, it dwarfed everything around it. And yet, it ignored the food. Was it uninterested? Too full? Or did it prefer something bigger? Two more arapaimas swam nearby, their massive bodies moving with quiet dominance. Even among giants, preferences matter. In the wild, the strongest creatures don't just eat anything, they choose. Glowing eyes in the deep. In the murky waters of Mgro, Brazil, a fisherman froze as two massive creatures emerged from the depths, their eyes glowing in the darkness. Panicked, he tossed his catch into the water, hoping to distract them, but the fish didn't move. The creatures just stared, their gaze unshaken, almost calculating. Were they arapaima, the giant fish known for their picky eating habits? Maybe they ignored the offering because they craved something bigger, something alive. As the fisherman stood frozen, he couldn't shake the feeling that these ancient giants were waiting for something far more unsettling. The Springfield shadow. What he saw in the water wasn't normal. Near the Greenway in Springfield, a fisherman set up his camera, expecting to capture a peaceful scene. Instead, he filmed a dark figure slipping beneath the surface. Then, splash! It rose again in a flash. The shape was unclear. Could it be a beaver? They're known for their large tails that slap the water, but something about its movement felt different. Mysterious. Whatever he filmed, nature had once again reminded him, sometimes the answers aren't as simple as they seem. The sea's hidden face. Out in the open sea, a fisherman spotted something he couldn't believe. A figure with a human-like face, but a long, powerful tail, gliding through the water like a mermaid from a legend. For a moment, it even seemed to stand in the waves. Heart pounding, he moved closer. That's when he realized it wasn't a mermaid at all. It was a dugong, a rare marine creature often mistaken for mythical beings due to its slow, graceful movements. A living legend in the water. The fisherman never expected to witness such a rare encounter, but the ocean had its own plans. Monster in the lake. Legends about lake monsters have existed for centuries. But what if one finally showed itself? A group of visitors stood at the edge of a lake, filming an unusual sight, something large and unidentifiable moving beneath the surface. It glided slowly, its form just blurry enough to keep its true nature a mystery. It looked like a creature from an old sea monster movie, the kind people whisper about but never actually see. Had they just captured proof of something long thought to be a myth? Whatever was lurking in that lake, one thing was clear. Some secrets refused to stay hidden forever. Three-headed wonder. At a nursery in Weston-super-Mare, a man bent down to pick up what he thought was a normal frog. But the moment he held it, he realized something was horribly wrong. It had 3 heads, 6 legs, and all 3 heads moved as one. This wasn't just an odd mutation, this was something out of a sci-fi nightmare. Some believe pollution or climate change might be the cause, but no one knows for sure. The strangest part, all 3 mouths worked. Did they all eat? Or did only one decide when it was time for a meal? River monster in Colombia. A fisherman in Colombia thought he had hooked an ordinary catch. But when he pulled it up, his blood ran cold. The creature looked like something straight out of a prehistoric nightmare. Dark, massive, with jagged, terrifying teeth. It turned out to be a suckermouth catfish, a species that can grow up to a meter long. But this one was different. Its sharp, armored body and eerie, almost black color made it look even more monstrous. Was it just another catfish? Or something older? Something that had been lurking in the river long before humans ever set foot there? Some things are better left unseen. But now that you've seen them, will you ever look at a river the same way again? Subscribe for more chilling discoveries.